Hey y'all, it is your favorite photographer, Shani, and this is Black Girl Photography. Welcome back. We just finna get into it. So this video, of course, you see the title. We're gonna talk about what my experience was like living and working on a cruise ship. Yes, I lived and worked on a cruise ship, and I was literally just scrolling through the pictures and whatnot, and I'm just like, that's crazy. I was really on a cruise ship, like really out in the water on a cruise ship every single day, and it was an experience. Like, it was, let's get into it. So I literally came across this job on Indeed. Like, a lot of people ask me, how did you find this job? Like, it was on Indeed. I was scrolling and I was looking for a new job. I was in California, and at the time I was working at Amazon. I think I already quit Amazon by this time when I was looking for this job, but that was like the last job I was working. And I was scrolling and scrolling, and I saw the job, and I clicked on it, and I read the description, and it was like cruise ship photography. If you like to interact with people, you can travel and whatnot. And it was something that I read. I think it was the pay that I saw, and I was like, nah, I'm not finna work on a cruise ship. I'm not finna do that. So I clicked out of it, and then I kept scrolling, and then something, literally, I heard a voice in my head, and it was like, go back. And I was like, okay. So I scrolled back, went to it, clicked on it, and I think I had applied to other things as well. And I applied to that. And so literally, I want to say it was the next day, someone messaged me on Indeed, and I forgot his name. He messaged me and asked me, like, did I have time to talk or call? And I just wasn't expecting that. And so I was like, yeah. And I told him, like, what time it was, or what time I could talk to him. I think he ended up calling me before that time. He called me, like, within, like, I want to say 10-15 minutes after I told him, like, I was free to talk. And so he asked me, was I American? And I told him yes. And he asked me if I knew how to do photography, and I said yeah. And he was like, do you own a camera? And I was like, yeah, I own a camera, because I had a camera. After I told him, you know, those things, he was like, okay, well, this is the job. You passed the first test. We just need to know if you had a camera, because sometimes people will say that they do photography and they know what they're doing. They'll hire them. They'll get all the way out there onto the cruise ship, and then they have no idea how to work a camera, or they don't know what they're doing or anything like that. So he was like, you know, people that actually have a camera tend to know how to work a camera, so, you know, they can learn more if they're still at like a beginning stage or whatever. He basically told me he was like going to email me all the stuff, and there was going to be different people emailing me all kind of information, and there was going to be a list of things that I needed to do. He asked if I had a passport, and I lied and said that I was in the process of getting the passport. I was like, it's so ironic. I was already getting the passport, because like I'm in my head, I'm like, ooh, yes, I really want to do this at this point. Like, someone's calling me about it. And so he was like, no worries, we can help you get the expedited. We can see you the right kind of paperwork, Like, they'll give it to you right away. You don't have to wait for them to mail it to you or anything. They'll give it to you same day. It's that easy. So I'm like, all right. So then he emails me, and then these other people start emailing me. I had to get a medical certificate, something like that, a marine medical certificate. They have to give you a physical. Like, you have to go to a specific kind of doctor to give you a physical, to sign off saying that you don't pose a problem to where, like, the ship has to stop, and, like, you know, you have to get medical attention. Like, you're okay. You don't have any diseases. Your teeth, like, they check your teeth too. I had to go to the dentist to get my teeth checked, and had to make sure I didn't have any cavities or anything like that, and that nothing was wrong with my teeth. For certain jobs on the ship, they check your ears to make sure your ears are good and in good condition. I guess for people who work in like the engine rooms, because it gets really loud in those rooms and whatnot. So it was like a whole bunch of things that I had to do. I was stressing over finding somebody to do the test in California. And California is like such a huge state. So it was like, I was trying to find people that were near me and where I was located. To get to like the nearest major city, like big city, it's like an hour and some change. But even then, when I was looking for people, I didn't find anybody close to me. I think the closest place I found was in LA. And that's just me doing research and whatnot on my own. But once I reached out to the people like that work for the company, they helped me find the right kind of doctor in like close proximity to where I live. I was living in a small town, like outside of the Bay Area, like a really small country, like Western country. I was like trying to figure out how to get all this stuff done on top of not really, I had money saved up, but these things were costing like a couple $100s for me to like pay for. And they said they were going to reimburse me, and they did reimburse me for everything that I paid for and whatnot. But it was the simple fact that it's just like, I'm still having to do all these things. So no, I talked to him in April. Like that's when he hired me. I think it was like April 4th. It took me until like the end of May to get everything I needed. And I was like stressing so much, thinking like, if I don't get this stuff done in a certain amount of time, they're not gonna hire me, or they're not gonna like want me to come out. Like I was just stressed. I was losing my mind, but I got everything done. The people around me, they just didn't really believe that, because the job, because it's like I have to go fly and everything like that. I didn't physically go nowhere to talk to anybody or whatnot. So everybody was just like thinking it was a bluff. And I'm just like, y'all, this is really real. Like I'm about to leave. And they just didn't really believe that I was about to be up out of there. Like they just really thought I was about to sit up in the house. Nah, I was outie. Like when it got closer to the time, my things and whatnot, said farewell to everybody. The people sent me my flight. Remember when I told you he asked me if I was American? Basically for Alaska, which is where I was working, they have these laws where if you're not American, you can't work off the ship, only if you have like a certain job title. But like for photography, they just couldn't, only Americans could work in Alaska off the ship for photography. It was just really weird. That's why they really was like so quick to call me and get me up in there, because I was American and they needed an American photographer so they could get some pictures taken of the guests. Yeah, they sent me my flight and everything, and our ship left from Canada, so I had to fly to Vancouver, Canada. Y'all, I had to just interrupt shortly because I don't even know how I forgot to mention this. I had missed my first flight, y'all. I was sick. I was in there crying, trying to contact these people, letting them know I was not on the flight that they originally put me on, but they scheduled me a later flight, and I made it. And I got to Canada like late at night. But y'all, I was sick. Out of the country. Like I didn't know what to expect, but it was cool. I spent one night in Vancouver before I actually got onto the ship. So it took me to the hotel. And once I got to the hotel, I was hungry and like everything was closed. So I ended up just walking to a restaurant, and it was really nothing around. There was a Subway, it was closed. And this is nighttime. This is like 10 o'clock. Yeah, I came across this Korean corn dog place. Never had a Korean corn dog before. It was great. Like I love Korean corn dogs now because of that. But yeah, I went back to the hotel room. Before I left to get food, like I had chilled in the jacuzzi, because it's just like I'm in Canada and they had a hot tub. There was nobody out there and whatnot. I chilled in the hot tub. I think the sun was still up at like 9-10 o'clock. I think the sun had went down at like 10:15. I think it was around that time, because it was dark when I went to go get food. Yeah, everything was cool. So the next day the people came. I had to get up dirt early in the morning so I could make sure I got on the van, and the van took us to the port. And I remember this guy in the van, we were all talking, and we were like, saying if it was our first time or not. He was like, it's your first time? He's from, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, and if you ever see this and I'm wrong, but I believe he was from Belgium or Amsterdam. No, he was Norwegian. You were Norwegian. I don't know why I'm stressing that, but he was Norwegian. Okay, y'all, another little break. It had been like 2 months before I saw him again, and I'm just like, yo, where you been? He worked night shift. Before I got off the ship though, like maybe my last month, he got to give me a tour of some pretty cool stuff. So he held his word, and he got me some access, like behind stage access, to show me like how the ship works internally, how they drop the anchor and stuff like that. It was really dope. Like, it's your first time? And he was like, if you ever want to, see what's going on inside the ship or whatnot. And I'm saying this in my voice. He had an accent. He was like, you can come, just, let me know. And then it was cool. I seen him then. I got to the ship. I was amazed. I was wild. I'm like, this is my first time on a cruise ship. This is my first time in Canada. Like, this is my first time doing anything like this. I'm by myself. These people came and got us, showed us, you know, around and whatnot. We had like a little meeting of like all the people who were new. We all went together. I think he went instantly to wherever he was going. But yeah, we were all new, and then like a person came to get me. They took me to my room. So in the beginning, I was in the guest room. So I was like in a nice little room with a bed, bathroom. It was really nice. Because it was during like the pandemic still. I didn't even mention, this is during the panty. Like, this was all during, I don't even know how I didn't mention this. This was all during the pandemic. So we're still wearing masks, and it's still a lot going on. So yeah, that was a big risk I was taking. Going on a cruise ship during a pandemic by myself, it was just like overwhelming. So basically they had me on this like quarantine where I couldn't work, but I could still be around people. So it's like my supervisor came to visit me and introduce herself, and she European. And her name, I remember when she told me her name, like the first week, I could not get her name. And I'm so great with names, but her name, I could not get it. And then after a while, oh man, couldn't stand her name. You just couldn't stand that woman. If you see this, I just could not stand you, and I still don't. Like, I don't like you. But, you know, I'm in a better place in my life where, you know, I see you, it's cool, but I just don't like you. She came and introduced herself, and then like she told me another person was gonna be like my buddy, which was my assistant manager. And so yeah, I didn't like him neither. I don't like you. I just don't like you neither. I think they all know I don't like them, and if they don't like me, it's cool. Like, we just don't like each other. He was from South Africa. Yeah, he came and got me. He showed me around for a little bit, and then that was it. He was supposed to check off all this stuff on this list of paper. He didn't do much of nothing. He just was like, yeah, this is this, that, and the third. I'm outie. Like, do your thing. During the quarantine, I think the first 2 days, I couldn't go. I couldn't really do anything, but it was cool. I was in my room, and it was still great. I was looking out the little window, like when we left and everything. And then to a certain point, once we got out in the water, like I had no service. So I don't even know what I was doing. I was watching, maybe I probably had like some stuff on Netflix downloaded and was watching some stuff, writing, listening to music and whatnot in my room. And then like as far as eating, I was able to order room service because yeah, I couldn't leave out my room. But guys, I made the biggest mistake in the world. I wanted to talk to my mom because I wanted her to just know like I made it safe and everything like that. And I used the room phone. Why they charged my account $300 like for a 10-minute call? I believe we was on the phone for like 8 to 10 minutes. Like, it was like, Mom, I made it. It's so nice. I'm nervous, but I can't wait. Mom was like, I'm nervous for you too. I'm proud of you. I'm praying. Da 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 da. My baby on the water. I gotta pray and whatnot. And I'm like, I love you, and that was it. And they charged me $300. But the great thing about it was everything was billed to my account. So it's like when I got paid, that money was already taken out. So it's like I wasn't really missing nothing. And like I had food on the ship. It was nothing that I really needed. I had all my necessity things. So it was all good. So I didn't really like trip about it. But it was just crazy that's how much that cost. We interrupt this program. No, I'm just playing. So if you made it this far in the video, that's lit. And I rocks with you the long way for just wanting to listen to this. But I split this video up in 2 parts because it's kind of long, and I wanted to just give you more, you know what I mean, to look forward to. So head over to the other video and you can finish this journey with me, you know what I'm saying? And I thank you for being a part of it. The link is in the description. Take care. Peace.